When is the last time you had a cathartic cry? I'm talking about the seemingly inconsolable tears as if the world is ending. Just can't catch your breath, gotta cry it out kind of feeling. If that sparks any curiosity whatsoever, stick around for this episode because I want to share a recent story about how I just got into that cathartic cry zone and how it actually was so awesome and how I highly recommend it. So, welcome to a new episode of the show. If you're new here, I'm Gwen, and this is a show all about living an awesome life. The way I define awesome changes a lot, but really it's many different words. It's a feeling. It's joyful, healthy, vibrant, fun, abundant, wise, magnanimous. It's just a vibe, living an awesome life. And so this show is all about bringing in people to share about how they're living an awesome life and just sharing stories about how I'm doing it. So thank you for being here. So this week, I had one of those historic cathartic cries. I want to share with you the story around it and then also why I recommend it as a doctor, Dr. Gwen Aussem. Jeez, imagine that happened. That'd be great. So here's the story. So I haven't actually cried in months, like an actual proper cry, besides me tearing up watching a movie, or I am that very sensitive soul that will cry to YouTube video or something like that, but it's not a real emotional release, as it were. The truth is, even when I had a baby, I wasn't crying. When I had Liam, my son, I almost was just shocked. I didn't cry. I just thought, whoa, hello, buddy. And so I don't think I've actually truly had a proper cry since he was even born. And so last week, it all kind of built up and bubbled over. So I feel like for a while, I've been just collecting grief, collecting stories, collecting information, and just kind of collecting stuff, but not releasing it. And so all the timing around this is actually so fascinating because last Thursday, Liam was getting babysat by his grandma, by his nanny. So for the first time ever during the day, he was being babysat, and I essentially had the day to myself to do what I need to do. And it was amazing. And so, of course, being the type A perfectionist I am, I wrote a massive list and started to work on the list until I just thought I went too far. I need to lie down, take a break, take a moment, take a beat. And so as I was just taking a break, I received a phone call from someone very close to me who let me know that they were dealing with a pretty serious health issue over the last couple of weeks. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks because for many reasons, it was relief that this person is doing okay now, a sadness that this person's going through this, also just a little bit of guilt, like, hey, maybe I should call more often, just a concoction of emotions. And so I was really feeling it, and I'm just like, I don't feel like I can sit here and just like kind of stew in this concoction. So I went for a walk, and that's when it happened publicly. So I could kind of feel the tears coming. And so I actually just decided to go with it. Make it a mood, okay? Put on the music that you know is gonna help you cry it out. And what's interesting is luckily I went outside when it was getting dark outside. But I really just felt like I needed to like let myself go there. So I found a park bench and was lucky that there was no one around. If there's people around you, that's also okay because it's almost giving other people permission to be allowed to have a little bit of a breakdown. That's a normal human emotion. You don't necessarily have to like completely hide yourself when you're crying. But I really just allowed myself to go there, just get it out of my system, cry it out. And it was glorious. I didn't even care that when the sun was setting, I forgot sunglasses and people, probably cars, were coming and were like, what is that girl's problem? I don't care. I'll never see them again. Now, I share this because I also know there are people in my life who have that feeling of wanting to cry, or maybe might be crying a little bit, but not allowing yourself to really go there. So I was kind of looking into this because I figure, because a cathartic cry feels so good, is there any actual research or data or feelings behind, or like truth behind how this is good for you? Now, what was really interesting is I think of a cathartic cry as like a forest fire. Instead of a quick like fire and it's put out immediately, it's just goes through, rips through the forest and just destroys everything, which sounds terrible. But the truth is, forest fires often stimulate new growth. I Googled this. I don't know where I got this from. I'm sorry. Credit to whoever I Googled this from. But basically, by having the forest fire go through, it allows the sun to hit places it never did before. It allows the light to get in. Wow, this analogy is good. And essentially allowing new seeds and new life to be born. So if you're somebody that just feels like heavy, damp life, like you're wearing a blanket, maybe you need to give yourself some serious tear therapy. And something else that I found really interesting is just how it really is a great tool to release stress and emotional pain. And there should be no, you shouldn't feel bad about yourself if you need to cry. Like, I know growing up, I saw that as such a weakness. I remember thinking, oh, crying, God, get it together. But now I think people who cry and feel their emotions are extremely powerful people. But I did find an interesting article from Harvard about how there's different types of tears. There's 3 different kinds. There's the reflex tears and continuous tears that are simply performing those functions like removing debris, such as like smoke or dust from your eyes, or lubricating your eyes to help protect from infection. So their content is 98% water. But the 3rd kind is emotional tears. Now, emotional tears are intended to actually flush the stress hormone and toxins out of your system, and it offers probably the most health benefits. And the researchers have established that crying releases oxytocin and endorphins. I can definitely say that, because once you kind of get that tearful moment out, don't you just feel like, bring it on, world? We're so afraid of getting to those emotions that seem like the world is ending. But once we go through it, it just feels like I can start again. So my message today ultimately is that it's awesome to give yourself the space to have a cathartic cry, and give yourself grace as well. You're not a loser. You're not failing. Nothing has gone wrong. Everything is going right by you surrendering to this beautiful moment. It truly lifted my spirits. It cleared some personal grief, collective grief, some fear, and reminded me that it's just an important element of the human experience. So thank you so much for listening today. I wish you many cathartic tears. Whenever they hit you, go with it and release anything that isn't serving you anymore. Have an absolutely awesome day, and I'm so excited to see you on a new episode next week.